quality. The first leg of your demonstration is quality. I need you guys to really pay attention to what I'm about to say next. It's very important, okay? Think about it like this. When we go see our customers who are middle-aged, 30, 40, 50 years old, okay? The only thing they've ever seen or used for their entire life falls into one of these three categories. So this is what they're expecting you are going to show them. Under the banner of quality, I show you this chart because I need you, as the representative, to be able to see Cutco is not just another knife you're going to find in stores. We get 10 points. 10. And the closest thing you'll find in the store is 3.5. Now, we don't have this chart to show our customers. Yet our customers still need to be able to see and feel and understand, like you do, how good Cutco really is. And we cover that during the features and benefits section. Now, I only share that with you because if you remember yesterday, don't open your manuals, just look up here for a second. If you remember yesterday, at the very beginning of training, I said, look, if I'm going to take the time to do this, if I'm going to take the time to train you guys, to give you my best, to go all out to ensure your success, I was not going to train you to do a presentation. I was going to train you to understand it. And the whole point of everything I'm just covering was so that you understand when you get to the features and benefits section in training, something in your mind needs to snap, an alarm needs to go off, a light bulb needs to flicker on, and something about you has to change so that your customer can feel how good these knives really are. I mean, you saw how good they cut for yourself. You saw the demonstrations that we did. You've been in the interview. A lot of you guys have had a chance to use the products yourself. We've heard from different customers. But think about a customer who's never heard of Cutco, doesn't know anybody who owns it, hadn't had a chance to cut anything yet. The only thing they know is what you tell them and how you come across, and your confidence, your conviction, your belief in the product. Does that make sense? And so when you get to the feature benefits, if you thought this was effective, if you thought this really shows nicely how good the product is, all I'm saying is, when you get to the feature benefits section, go nuts. Do. Go nuts. I mean, look, if all your customers sat through this training seminar, do you ever think you'd have a no sale? So all you got to do is take what you're listening to and hearing here out to them, and you won't have no sales either. Does that make sense? Because they'll be able to see it and believe it just like you. Everybody understand the quality here? Okay, now let's move on to your second leg of your demonstration. The second leg of your demonstration. Okay? The second leg of your demonstration is probably a pretty easy one for you guys to figure out. But it's the guarantee. Okay? It's the guarantee. It's the guarantee. Okay. With the guarantee. Everybody with me? I'm trying to hold your attention here and be entertaining today, because it's really important stuff. With the guarantee. I was like you. I probably was. I was like you when I sat in training, thinking to myself, but Danny, my parents don't own Hinkles or Wusthof. They're not buying $1,500, $2,000, $3,500 sets of knives. How does any of this apply to me? How in the world would I ever be able to sell a homemaker set if, my parents buy the Walmart knives? You know what I mean? Like, how is this possible? And I could never imagine, I just couldn't wrap my mind around somebody spending $500 or $1,000 on a set of knives when I was a student sitting in your shoes. Obviously I can't now, but at the time I couldn't. And if you're feeling that way, trust me, I can relate. Now, I only share that with you because then I went home that night and I opened up my mom's drawer and she had a whole drawer full of knives. and I took out all the knives that we had in our house, and I priced them together. I just said, hey, you know, maybe the average knife is 20 bucks. And we had well over $1,500 worth of knives in our home. Way more. And so what I want to share with you is, let's say that your parents are those people buying the Walmart cheapo knives. And they buy the $20 knife. They're not buying Hinkles, they're not buying Wusthof, right? They're buying the $20 knives. Let's say your mom starts cooking when she's 30, she ends when she's 70. How many years of cooking is that? Okay? And the average knife has to be replaced after how many years? Okay, so how many replacings is that? 20. So I take this $20 knife, multiply it by the 20 replacings over the years, and that one knife cost me 400 bucks. The average set of knives comes with 10 tools, 8 steak knives. So I multiply that by the 10 tools, and my $20 person spent $4,000 on knives by the time they're done cooking. The true cost of knives is not what you see. It's like a big pen, right? The big pen cost me 10 cents today, but it runs out of ink. I gotta rebuy it, I gotta rebuy it, I gotta rebuy it, I gotta rebuy it. The true cost of a pack of cigarettes is not $3.50. It's the $1,000 you spend at the end of every single year. The true cost of a Starbucks is not $3.50. It's the $1,000+ you spend at the end of every year. You understand? The true cost of a knife is not the $20 that your mom or dad goes, well, I buy this from Walmart, and I only buy my knives for 20 bucks. It's all the knives over the course of the years. They cost thousands. Think about somebody who's buying Hinkles. Look, folks, we have 15 million customers satisfied around the world. Do you think in this world there are more rich people or poor people? There's more poor people, of course. Okay? I mean, it's like, you know, unbelievable ratio. Do you think out of that 15 million, the majority of our customers are rich or poor customers? Well, more of them, they're mainly middle class, right? Why? Because if I'm middle class, and I'm going through a tough economic time, and I don't know what's guaranteed in the future, well, the one thing I know is this. A, I'm going to have to buy knives in the future. Does that make sense? Unavoidable. Good economy, bad economy, knives go dull, you got to buy new knives. No matter what. So if I had a choice, and I know I'm just going to have to keep rebuying, it's not about whether or not somebody can afford Cutco. It's can you really afford not to have Cutco? The fact of the matter is you're going to have to buy knives again anyway. If you buy from us, you could do it for the same amount or much less than 4,000 bucks, and you never have to buy knives again for the rest of your life. If you don't go with our company, you're just going to have to keep rebuying and rebuying and rebuying and rebuying. And that's going to cost you a heck of a lot more in the long run. Whether it's because of the gas that you spend to get to the store, the time that you could be making money that you stand in the line picking out knives, or maybe it's the sheer fact of actually purchasing the knives. Either way, going with us is a very solid investment. Cutco is not a purchase. Cutco is an investment. Does that make sense? This, you buy. Cutco, you invest in. That's a big difference. That's a big difference. Today I left the door open, and I'll do the same thing I did yesterday. If you guys can tell me, out of all the things that you got for Christmas, out of all the things that your parents bought you or whatever, I mean, if you can tell me something that you buy once, use every day, and you'll never have to replace, feel free to go. Go sell that thing. I'm glad you're all still here, because it's not out there. It doesn't exist. This is why we're on the Travel Channel. This is why we're on the History Channel. If there's one thing you don't have to worry about, it's how good the product really is. Does that make sense? If there's one thing you don't have to worry about, it's how great the product you're representing really is. With this, let's say that, I'm